Welcome back to the Sort of Truth podcast, the alcohol-fueled, chapter-by-chapter reread of the Sort of Truth series with panties soaked in craft brew on the side. Actually, that'd be more front and center, I guess, wouldn't it? Anyways, I am Nate.
And I'm Jade, and on this episode we are stripping down Chapter 24 of Temple of the Winds. This intro sounds like super duper sexy.
Yeah.
I feel kind of bad now because I feel I'm setting people up for something.
We gotta lower the standard, the expectation right now. It's not going where you think.
Yeah, I guess that's. I was like, I feel like maybe I alluded to something that is not going to be as great.
I think that's the crazy thing about this chapter is you get 99% of the way through it, and we're like, all right, okay, little hot, little steamy, and then all of a sudden, fucking left turn, like you would not believe.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you would expect what's gonna happen.
No.
But you definitely get, like, spooky vibes from the guy for most of it. Like, he gives you the spooks.
Well, you know, like, little spook, little sex, it's October.
Yeah, it is an appropriate month for...
It really is.
For this. So, yeah, I guess with all of that, we're going to get into Chapter 24, and it's going to be great.
Now that the audience is just dripping with anticipation.
Their panties are soaked. With anticipation.
I know mine are.
Or whatever.
What? They're soft. Anyways, shall we continue?
Yeah, we should.
Okay.
Say, this note isn't mine, so...
I put this in here. On the last episode, you said strategery, like, at least twice. Yeah. I want to say I remember it 2 times. And when I listen back through for, like, quality check now, I heard you say that, and I laughed so hard. And I was so upset with myself that I didn't even catch it once in the last episode. I let both of them fly right by. So I apologize, Jade. That was a fantastic callback.
Thank you.
You deserve it.
Thank you.
That was a good one.
That's the bittersweet thing about doing a podcast.
You even had... I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
Is that you tell a joke and you trust that the people who are listening are going to hear it, but your co-host doesn't always catch the joke.
Yeah.
And then when you're editing as the other co-host, you hear the jokes that you missed, and you're like, God damn it.
Son of a bitch.
That was funny.
It was even just a little bit better for me because you almost had the Southern Bush inflection on it. Strategery. And I was just like, yes, you nailed it.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay, that was my forward. I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Well, I appreciate it.
I realized you put down gold, and I was just shoveling air. So you got that one. 10 points. 11 because I missed it.
I'll accept them.
Okay.
I'll bank them away. Okay, am I reading this one again?
Yeah.
I wrote the notes. Okay.
You're the master of this realm. Read me a story, Jade.
Okay, I'll take you on a super sexy trip.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Our chapter opens with a man in the shadows.
Boo.
He's watching a potbelly man leave a room down a hallway and savoring the darkness. It's the best place for debauchery, you know.
That's right.
It has been too long, and his lust is filling him. He's filled with the lust.
I like how he's all filled with lust, but he saves enough hate in his heart for the fat piece of shit that's leaving in front of him.
To note the belly on the man.
Because if you're fat, you're evil, almost inherently in these books. If you're a fat dude, you're bad. Like, sorry.
Plus, I mean, as of yet in the chapter, we haven't been exclusively told where he's leaving, but he's leaving a prostitute's room. So in general, yeah, people of that ilk aren't necessarily, like, I guess in this book, it kind of goes both ways, because they're like, Nathan might want a little something, and that's fine.
Might go in there. There are some, I don't know. The only thing I can kind of match it up to is like when you go to a Magic the Gathering tournament. I was warned ahead of time, and it wasn't as bad as I was led to believe, but there sometimes is a smell when you're playing against a person who had not showered in that few days, I'm guessing. I'm trying to be nice. I really am. A lot of them are wonderful people. They were more excited about that than, cleaning. So,
well, I mean, when you don't interact with people outside of, certain gatherings, then you probably don't realize that it's an issue.
And we'll talk more about the smell of sweat and stuff in this chapter because it is a theme.
Yes. It's late, and he doesn't hear any sounds from any of the other rooms. So the man must have been the last client, except for him.
Sorry.
They're all done, okay? Which is how he likes it, with all the evidence of what happened before. He doesn't like being the last person because of the time, maybe he does a little bit, but that's not what's emphasized here. He likes being the last person because he knows all the men that were there before.
All I can think of is sloppy seconds, but in this dude's case being like, sloppy last.
Yeah, sloppy 10th. I don't know. His senses were always heightened in his aroused state, so he could smell everything.
Whoever this man is going into his predator state.
Yeah.
This is, when they go on the hunt, they're like, everything is heightened. His senses are heightened. It's all coming in clear.
It's just interesting. I mean, maybe not maybe. I'm sure that there is a sect of people who do get turned on by the idea that the person they're going to be with has just been with somebody else. I know that's a thing.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I assume that I don't want to say normal, but a lot of people who go to prostitutes probably try to block out the fact that there were men there before them.
Yeah, and we will get into a little bit with this guy too. He enjoys the fact that there were people there before him, but he also when you go, you try to trick yourself into believing that this woman really does care about you.
Yeah.
If only for a little bit. And then they talk about how fleeting that is. But yeah, it's the same thing with like exotic dancers.
Yeah.
No, she does not think you're funny. She is there at her job.
But I guess that is the...
But you feel like maybe, and it doesn't hurt her feelings. So, okay. Yeah, and then you just give yourself that illusion.
Her job is to make you feel good for that moment because you don't or whatever.
I was just going to say, she might be a very friendly person.
Yeah.
But also...
That's her job.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the point that I'm trying to make. When you go to those type of establishments, typically you're putting yourself in some type of fantasy realm where you're like, this is between me and this person. I am not one of a list of clients that were here today. that is not, and this guy seems to be relishing in the smell of cum and sweat from the men before, which is something I don't think that would normally be something you would do going into one of these rooms. That's all.
Kind of the way that you just said that reminds me of Sons of Anarchy, where he's like, yeah, you can hang out. We need a guy to clean the cum and puke off the bathroom floor.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be a biker. Let's go.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay. So he feels the throbbing of his need. Need. I guess that's what we're calling it now. And he knows this woman's going to be able to help him. She's going to slate his desire.
Okay.
That's what they are here for. Other men just throw themselves on these women and get their moment of pleasure. They're rutting beasts, ignorant of all that adds to the climax for both people. Yeah. Yeah.
He's coming at this very intelligibly.
Yeah.
Very up in his mind for what's going on around him.
Yeah, he is intellectually superior to all of these guys. They are all just pieces of shit who don't know what they're doing, and he is the one who has come to make it all better.
Well, they don't wait. Here he comes.
That's
the whole thing.
The end of it. That's all we needed.
I had another joke lined up, but fuck that. This was much better.
Sorry.
You go right on ahead.
He is so fucking uniquely perceptive and aware that he can cement this memory in his moment, like in his mind, giving this moment permanence forever. Normal people can't fucking do that.
No, that is... okay, for me, I like a lot of... I like a lot of serial killer shit, okay? Just, I like hearing about them and being, what the fuck's going on in there? But one of the things very intelligent people can do is they create a mind palace or a mind museum. Fucking Hannibal Lecter does this. If you read the books, you don't really get to see that in the movies, but he can visit any point in time in his entire life and remember it with stunning accuracy. Or if he has a fantasy of some kind, he can picture it. Mm-hmm. He can envision that fantasy like 100% you're watching HD TV.
Yeah.
But this was a thing to me when he's just like, yeah, I can remember this forever. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Probably is actually smart then. Doesn't just think he's smart. Probably is pretty intelligent.
Yeah. Smart doesn't mean good. But,
no, not at all.
But yes, he probably is smart. He feels fortunate that he, of all people, can see such things. And at least he is able to fulfill women. Unlike all those other fucking losers.
Right.
He just oozes superior vibes.
The rest of us are just practicing.
Yeah. It's funny. Me and Nate have a person that we know in our lives who is very similar. Not similar to the things we'll get into in a moment, but as far as the superior vibes.
Yes. I know exactly who you're speaking of.
Yeah. It's just rough. I will go into a situation with this person and be like, Jade, you give yourself put everything aside. You're going to go in there and just treat him like you've never met him before and have a good time and not talk shit when you leave. And then we leave, and I'm like, he is such a dick.
Immediately.
And then it's just rough. Every time he talks and it plays, it's a lot.
He knows it all.
Yes.
And he goes to great lengths to let you know that he knows it all.
Yeah.
And knowing it all is fine. But it's the attitude around it, I think, that, very conceited at times.
Yes. And it's an attitude. They don't necessarily say... This person in particular, anyways, doesn't
I'm better than you,
right,
nerd.
He doesn't say that. But there's a certain attitude, and it makes it even worse that he doesn't just say it, because he's like, you think it, and we can't call you out on how wrong you are. But anyways, I just wanted to mention that it's
those are the vibes you're getting?
Yeah, it's very difficult to deal with those type of people in your real life. At least for me. I have a very hard time dealing with it.
I can glaze over pretty easy, so some of it just bounces right off of me. But,
I cannot.
I know.
That's where I get into sparring matches with people while drinking, and it's not great. So, this guy takes a breath, and he moves quietly down the hallway. He notices the candlelight move on his body, and he thinks if he can be mindful... someday, he might be able to feel the light and the dark. So all of this is an effort to become mindful enough to feel the light, apparently. Because he can feel the dark. He's all about the dark already.
Yeah.
So
likes the dark, likes the creepy.
So his journey in life is trying to be mindful enough to find the light. And this is the path he's going to take to get to the light, which is interesting. It's going to be interesting for you anyway.
Sometimes to get to the light, you have to touch the darkness, Jade.
Mm-hmm. That's the Rings of Power.
Yeah.
Yep. Something like that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I like that show. I'm having a harder time getting into that one and keeping it stick in my brain because it's a lot of information.
There's a lot.
Okay.
We'll stay focused on the sword of truth for right now, though.
Yes, I'm sorry.
No, not you. It's fine. I can talk about anything right now.
So, he opens the door that the potbelly man just walked out of. We mentioned the potbelly a lot in this chapter. I don't know why it was such a big deal.
He's an evil son of a bitch with a potbelly. Look at him over there with that fucking potbelly.
But he walks into the room without knocking and closes it behind him. This woman is just pulling up her panties, and seeing him, her only reaction is to toss her robe over her bare body and loosely tie it. She's not, freaked out that this guy is coming in unannounced and just being like, hey, totally normal. But, goes with the territory of her job.
Yeah, it does.
The room smells like coals, soap, body powder, and perfume, but cutting through all of that is the smacking smell of lust and semen.
Yum.
Yeah, just right in your face.
Just that heavy, dank.
Oof. Somebody just fucked in here.
Somebody just... Close the window. You're letting all the stank out. This is what they're referring to.
Smells like glazed donuts.
Glazed donuts. Wow. I may or may not have... No, I have to say it now. I may or may not have written a song many years ago about sex and the different kinds of donuts that would represent certain types of sex. Obviously, you can use your imagines. There is a plain donut.
Your imagines?
There's a chocolate donut. You got the Long John. And, in this context, I can't believe I'm about to say this on the podcast, but sprinkles are horrible. Even though sprinkled donuts are my favorite because I'm a Homer Simpson man. So...
I like glazed. I'm pretty simple chick.
I turned it scary and then immediately just washed it, so it's fine.
Washed it up. Yeah. Anyways.
Like.
There's a small chest and a graphic ink drawing above the bed. Some super pornographic shit there. There's also a wash basin where it's obvious she just washed.
Okay.
So she's clean. Not all of them do. Usually the older ones who don't get paid a whole lot, they don't bother. The younger, more expensive ones wash after each man, and he prefers it that way, but when lust comes in, that'll override little things like that.
Well, apparently you're already getting off to the sweat and the cum smell, so, I don't know. Could go either. It was weird for me. It was like, I prefer it when they're clean, but I like to smell the dirtiness.
Yeah, I want to know that it's here, but I want them to also be clean. What? What is your aim here? I don't really understand, but, okay. He wondered if the non-professionals he had ever thought of... He wondered if the non-professionals he had ever thought of such things. Probably not. These women, the one... Fuck me.
Can't talk.
These women, the ones looking for love, satisfied him, but not in the same way.
Right.
They wanted, he wanted. In the end, he gave a little bit of what they wanted, and then his needs could be satisfied. Really, it's just very tedious.
He wants to skip that romance shit, and he doesn't have time for it.
Yeah.
He's like, no, let's get to the fucking.
Yeah. Get me what I need, and then we're good. This woman thought she was done for the night. He apologetically says he thinks he's the last one now, and he doesn't want to piss her off. It's not as satisfying if she's pissed off. He likes them very eager to please.
Right.
He doesn't want her all upset and like, fuck you, I wanted to go to sleep. She says all right, then with no hint of fear or mention of money, she's like totally cool. Silas Latherton, he's the dude downstairs, makes sure that they don't got to worry about that. The men always pay before coming upstairs, and he doesn't want them to have to deal with the income upstairs, because that's a whole other situation. Number one, he wants the money himself, and
exactly,
they can't take their own cut if he has to give them their cut. But also, that prevents the men having to deal with the women directly with the money.
Right.
Saves some.
Everything's already paid for. It's kind of security too. You know, you're not going to be up there unless you paid. So if you paid, they don't need to fret about the money from his point of view. But I'm like, yeah, they should probably get it.
Yeah, you're not going to get what you want from my girl and then beat her up and take her money.
Right, exactly.
Something like that.
It's much like if you guys have ever watched, oh fuck, it's been so long. Westwood? Deadwood. Dude runs a brothel, and it goes that way. They don't go upstairs unless they pay.
Yeah, that's just the rules.
Yep.
So she assumes he's already paid if he's upstairs. I mean, I don't know if we assume the dude paid because he was hiding in the shadows like a fucking weirdo.
I think from their conversation later, he has paid.
But also, she thought he was the last for the night, and I feel like, I don't know, it seems to me like maybe he snuck in a window or something and didn't tell. You know what I mean? Like, the boss man didn't tell her that she had been paid for one more guy. And he was hiding in the shadows.
This was a surprise to her.
Yeah.
That's not good.
So, maybe. I don't know. Her hair was messed up from Mr. Potbelly, but he liked her looking that way. Her body's sexy, long legs, great tits from what he saw before she put the robe on. And he's in no rush. Once it's started, it's always over too quick, and he wants to relish all the little details while he can, so he can capture them forever in his mind.
Yeah, there's that fucking creepy thing again.
Yeah, he wants to hold on to it forever. She was more than just pretty, though, okay? Her features would make men obsessed with her. She held herself with confidence, showing she knew it, and the men spending money on her proved it to her. But her features had an edge to them that most men wouldn't notice. He did, of course, because he's better than all of them.
He's special and smarter.
Absolutely.
And he pays attention to more shit, which, I don't know. I guess it depends on the quality of establishment that you're in. Maybe some places you don't want to notice all the extra shit. Maybe some places you do. Maybe some places you pay extra for stuff like that.
But he's not talking about, like, the different little bumps and lumps on a what. Like, he wants to notice the things that you wouldn't want to notice are the things he seems to want to, like the edge of a woman.
It makes it special and unique.
Yeah, so if she was an older woman with an edge and a cesarean scar and one leg, he might want to know, like, that makes it all the more special because she has an edge.
Yeah. Before we go any further, I'd like to talk about the edge that I have right now.
Yeah.
Which is a fantastic buzz. Due to the craft beer we are currently drinking, it is time for the beer break.
Yay.
So today we have, and this was Jade picked this up. I was not in the choosing process, and I'm very pleased. You are just 10 out of 10 kicking ass all day today.
Well, I had to grab it before a bachelorette party, and I was like, if I'm going to grab something, it's going to be something that's worth it.
Well, you know what? And you chose right. You chose Sandy Peaches Imperial Shandy. Right? The girls they didn't want heavy beer. They wanted something they could drink, and it's light, and it is fruity, but then this fucker also comes in at 8%.
I got my kind of shandy.
Yeah. You tricked him into drinking your beer.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. It says, let this peach lemonade shandy take you to your favorite shore and enjoy the Michigan summer on some sandy beaches.
Michigan!
We're maybe a little late because Michigan summer is long gone now.
Yeah, it's cold.
This really is a good beer. Holy shit, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's an imperial shandy, imperial being the only kind of shandy Jade likes.
Yeah.
Or not really the only kind. You just like the stronger ones.
I'll drink the other ones, but I'm like, yeah, this is kind of fruity and it's like 4%, so what's the point? Like, they're not fruity enough to make it worth it. You know what I mean? Like, if it was a real good... They're always so light. I don't know.
Well,
I'd rather get drunk.
This is part of Perrin's side hustle series.
I like Perrin, too.
So, they made it to work. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think they did a damn good job. Much like most of the beers we review from Perrin, they're fantastic. If you have a chance to try any Perrin beer, we're not sponsored by them at all, by the way. Be. But if you guys wanted to, just saying... go get it, buy it, drink it. You will love it very, very much. But yeah, so I am definitely going to get a refill of this, and we'll be back
right after
this. We both went weird for like no reason.
And we're back.
All right, Mickey.
It's very cheery for what's happening.
This is like the opposite of Disney show today.
Yeah, well, that's why I got to bring it in a little bit. So he asked if she was new, knowing her answer before she gave it. It's her first day. With the army in the city, women like her with blue eyes are in great demand. It reminds men of home, because they're all the fucking Daharans with the blonde hair, blue eyes. He makes a comment about it meaning better wages, and she tells him to cut the bitchin', because if he can't afford it, he wouldn't be here. And he regrets the way that she takes the comment, because that's not what he meant by it. He wasn't trying to be like, oh, yeah, you get better wages, too. He wasn't trying to be like a dick. He was just trying to, like, make conversation.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to smooth it over, and he's like, I'm glad you're with Silas, because he's going to keep you safe. And she doesn't...
He's a good dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Well... Maybe not good, but he beats the shit out of people who treat his girls bad. So there's that.
Protection.
She doesn't respond with, like, warmth, but she admits to have being roughed up once before. And besides the pain, she had been out of work for a month. Ugh. So she was, like, glad to hear he has a good reputation.
That is, like, in all my wildest... I mean, I guess I get beating somebody up, right? But I don't... I'm sorry. I'm, like, fumbling over my... I'm really just thinking about it for the first time. She was out of work for a month.
Yeah.
What could you do? Like, is it, like, beat up? She said thrown around, so maybe that's what it was. Like, she was actually beaten up. Like, probably closer to rape than actual rough sex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, Jesus, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the injuries, healing, you have your healing time, but then also, like, even if you feel good enough to fuck somebody for money, you might not look good enough to get paid to fuck somebody for money.
Got bruises. Some psychopath like that probably likes it.
Yeah, maybe, but, like...
You shouldn't let him in.
Yeah,
Oh.
So, yeah, she's not, like, happy with him, but he has successfully smoothed over the bad comment.
Yeah.
But she wants to get on with it. He motions for her to undress first. He wants her to enjoy it. And she tells him not to worry about her. She is a very talented whore. And she is going to enjoy it enough. Don't worry about it. He paid for his pleasure. So this is about you. It's not about me.
But that's not what he wants.
No,
he wants her to enjoy it so much. That's like his focus.
Yeah. He wants her to be getting pleasure from him.
And he goes on at length about it, too.
He does. He enjoyed hearing the thread of sarcasm in her voice when she said that to him. Most people would probably not have picked up on it, but he had been waiting for it, listening for it. Yeah.
He's our special boy.
Well, plus, I mean, I feel like it's also part of this, like, he's not trying to stay in the fantasy. Like, if you go into a brothel and you stay out of your head in it, you know what I mean? Like, if you're going in there and you're like, she is a prostitute. Or a strip club. She is a stripper. She doesn't care about me. When she says things like, don't worry about me, baby, I will enjoy it. Like, you're going to be like, you don't fucking mean that.
Well, she's not even getting sex out of it at that point. She's just doing all the work if she's dancing.
Oh, okay, yes.
But, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Either way, when she says, I'm going to enjoy it, she's going to be sarcastic. And there's two types of men. Like, maybe not two types of men, but you either take it as the sarcastic truth that it is, or you pretend.
Or you start to believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's acting like he's special because he's the only person who would pick up that trace of sarcasm.
Yeah.
But I feel like, and if you're not in the fantasy of the moment, most people would pick up on that because, yes, obviously, she's just trying to get her money out of you.
That's just the reality of the situation. I mean, we've hung out with a couple of dancers a bunch of times, actually, and they are very, very sweet people. But there's all, like, we were there while she was working, too, and it's a little weird because we're like on friends basis, not like I'm trying to be protective or anything, you know what I mean? But it was just, you can see the transactional nature when you're that much in the reality of the moment. You know what I mean? You go in with your money and it's just like, oh no, she likes me. She's, we had a good time or whatever. But it's just, there are two realities happening there.
Yeah. I mean, that is actually a very good explanation because we went there as friends, and actually somebody who was dating her was with us.
Yeah.
And so watching her dance with other guys while he was there, you're not in the fantasy of like, oh, yeah, she likes those guys. Because, like, yeah, she likes dancing, but she was interested in the guy we were with.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what my point is, but I feel like I was making one.
I think the point is just that this guy is going in and on purpose, he is forgetting the he's forgetting the fantasy side of where he is. You know what I mean? He's not there to indulge and think that he already thinks he's fucking special.
Yeah.
He doesn't need her to make him feel special. He has some other want that he wants fixed. So for him to do that, he is immediately doing the opposite of the thing most people go in, when they go into a place like that.
Yeah, actively reminding himself of the reality of the situation at every opportune moment. That's what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. See, I can use big words too.
We got there.
Mystery man.
And he's got the money to get what he wants too. He's not shy about that either.
Yeah. He lays 4 gold coins on the washstand. 10 times what Silas charges, and probably 30 times what she's gonna fucking get.
Yeah.
He liked how confused she looked at that. He clarifies that he will pay to see her enjoy it. And she says for that much, he's gonna remember her screams until he is an old man.
Is she conditioned? I'm sorry. I thought this was really interesting.
Hold on. He believes he will.
He believes he will, yes.
Okay, you can go on with
I was just going to say, she said, you'll remember my screams. And I mean, is she assuming that this guy's some sort of weirdo?
No, I think that she's just trying to, play up the, moans, screams. I think...
She was screaming for it, man.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
Laying it on thick. She's
screams was a weird choice of word for her to say, in my opinion.
I feel like, though, when you're in the sex work industry and, in her mind, there is nothing weird about this transaction so far.
No, I'm not saying there's anything weird about the transaction itself.
But so the word screams, in context for her, isn't a large stretch. She hears men say shit like that all the time.
Every day, yeah.
So, yeah, she knows what type of fantasy guys are looking for. They want a girl who's screaming for it and just dying over their dick. And she's going to give him that.
Okay. That makes sense then. I was just, when she said that, I was just like, is she already a little freaked out? Or no.
Yeah. A little foreshadowing,
because
though.
I
That's what it feels like.
Super aware, Jade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So she takes off her robe, presses herself against him, and asks what he's looking for. He just reiterates that he's all about her getting pleasure. It's kind of boring. He just keeps saying the same fucking thing.
Just want you to like it.
Yeah.
I think I'm really bad at it, so I just really want you to tell me what a good job I'm doing.
Make me feel good. She assures him that she is a talented whore, and he's going to keep wanting to come back after this.
That's the goal. Return customer, baby.
Yeah. She's like, I'm going to get you hooked. She says her name is Rose and asks what to call him. This whole time, she's been calling him darling, kind of affectionately, and he says he likes that.
Okay, so I listened to the Audible version for this, and she says darling much different than Jagang, because Jagang's favorite word is also darling.
Darling.
But he drops the G. So the way that he read it on Audible, she's like, sure, darling. And it's like, okay, yeah, I like that. But then when Jagang says, he's like, darling, it's like, no, I don't like that. Yeah, same word, completely different vibe.
Yeah, but I still thought it was weird. And also what Jagang calls people. So yeah, I was like, ooh.
People that use darling are just weird, I guess.
Yeah, he likes it, apparently. Ugh.
I made a choice when I texted you earlier. I was like, hey, darling.
That's what I responded, and I was like, LOL, okay,
Jade
weird.
has told me several times, she's like, I don't like it when people say darling. It just, because of Jagang, freaks me out. I don't fucking like it. So I was just like, hey.
I don't think I used to dislike it, but then I've also been talked to by men my age and older, and it just feels like such a weird, demeaning. When you do it, it's different. Obviously, you're my husband.
When I do it, I'm also hyper aware of the fact that you don't like that word, and I have to use it carefully.
But it's just a weird,
and only in jest,
a weird affectionate thing that stranger men will use, and it's I am not your darling, and it makes me creeped that you just said that to me, that you called me that. I don't know.
I used to call you
possessive, I think.
Doll
I don't know.
a lot before we watched Sons of Anarchy, and then you have fucking, what's the guy's name? I can't remember it. Who's terrified of the dolls?
Fucking Tig.
Tig, yes.
I said Jig, that's not right.
And then after that, he was like, what do you have about dolls? And I remember thinking, wow, was that weird that I called Jade doll? Is that some sort of weird possessive thing that I'm doing? I better fucking stop that.
See, I don't think that bothers me. Darling feels possessive when an older, weird man is saying it to you at a checkout. You're like, I'm not your darling. Leave me alone. Anyways, he asks for her panties, like the one she's wearing, and she offers every single other pair that she has that are clean.
That is so weird.
And he says no, he just wants the dirty ones.
Oh, okay. He's a man of smells.
Yeah. She takes them off and pushes them into his hand, just saying just how he likes it with the scent of rose.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
He can do anything he wants. And she doesn't offer that to everyone. Butt stuff.
Is that what it is?
That's what I assumed. That's what I assumed. I mean, maybe I'm off, but that's where my brain immediately went.
You're probably right. You're probably in the area anyways.
She grabs the coins and she puts them away in her little chest. As she goes to close the chest, he notices a small little pillow with a rose on it. And when he asks about it, she tells him, instead of saying, mind your fucking business, that she made it when she was little, and her name was actually Rosa, which means rose in her father's language. Which,
okay.
Surprise. I was like, I don't know. That's not a huge revelation. I don't know. Anyways.
We think, it's Rose. That's very exotic, right? So her name's probably like Charlene or something like that. Nothing against Charlene.
No.
Your names are beautiful. But like you would think maybe it'd be a little different.
No, her name's really
no, my
Rosa.
Secret code name so guys don't know what my real name is like one letter away from my real name. So you can just show up and be like, hey, what was her name? Rose? And they'd be like, oh, yeah, she's here. Because no matter what, you're going to be talking about the same person.
Yeah, I literally have rose patterns on all my shit, too. Because that's just what I grew up. Like, it's just, anyways.
But this lady is supposed to represent a delicate flower.
Yes. And she's getting real emotional. She said her dad said that she was his little Rosa.
That's right.
And she grew in the garden of his heart.
Very sweet.
It's so cute.
It was, wow. It was very sweet. Rose is a human being.
Yes, but I'm just like, why the fuck would you tell this random story? Like,
yeah, no, I'm 100% with you there.
My name is Rose.
Thus,
it's a rose
the
pillow.
Secret code.
Leave me alone.
Stop telling him these things about you.
Yeah.
Please stop.
You have a rose pillow. There was no goddamn reason for you to give him this backstory. Your name is Rose. Literally, it's a pillow with a rose on it.
We also know, because we've hung out with dancers, that stage name, they never mention their real name. When they're called by the boss or back to the bar, everybody uses that stage name because they don't want anybody to know what your real name is. It's for their safety, and it's a good fucking thing.
You don't want your clients to get weirdly, obsessively attached,
right?
And find out your background.
Exactly.
Yeah, but nope, she tells him. And knowing something so intimate about her thrills him.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
No.
He already feels like he possessed her. Yep. As she put it back, he wonders about her parents and how they felt about her line of work. Not exactly normal foreplay thoughts, but whatever. I mean, everybody has different tastes.
Maybe he's just like, oh, she's dirty. I bet her parents fucking hate that. And she's, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
just like degrading
maybe.
As much as possible.
Maybe. That's not what it felt like, but maybe.
No. It's weird.
He asks if he can call her Rosa, and as she watches him work her panties into a ball in his hand, fucking weirdo, she smiles and says he's her special man now, and it would give her pleasure.
Okay, something just occurred to me, and this is going to be weird, but he's a man of smells. We know this. He's obsessed about the smells in the room and everywhere, and he gets these dirty panties, the ones he wanted specifically, not the clean ones. How does he not immediately lift them and take a whiff? Right. How does he not do that if that's like supposedly his thing? Now he's just balling them up in his fist. Like, what?
It is strange because he does fixate so much on it, and then
that just occurred to me.
And then in this entire chapter, spoiler, I don't think he does that at all. But I feel like we could put headcanon in here that he does. He did.
He thought about it.
As soon as he got him in his hand, he went, big ol' sniff. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that is acceptable. Yeah. Headcanon.
Smell of life.
His hands tremble as he thanks her. They always do until he starts. Then he is rock solid. It excites her that he looks nervous.
Look at you go.
It isn't nervousness, though. It's excitement.
Sure. Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
All right.
She grabs his dick. She wants to taste him. And they have all the time that they want because he is the final client. And he's like, I know. That was how I planned it. He promises that he's going to make it last a long time.
So you're thinking like 2.5?
Yeah.
Or...
The more he talks about it, the more I'm like, no, you won't.
I saw your hand shaking. You're already a little excited, buddy. And I'm sure also every single guy that comes to see her says to say, oh, I'm going to last forever.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, she plays Missy Elliott's Minuteman in the background as they leave. I'm a little confused. Okay, at this point, I got a little bit confused at the positioning here. Because it says that she turned and pressed her ass into him like a talented little whore. They mentioned that a lot in this chapter. Then she rocks her head against his chest, moaning, right? So I'm picturing she's turned away from him, facing the wall, right?
I think she does a spin move here.
Like she put her ass in his and then turned all the way around?
Yeah, because first she presses the ass, right? Mm-hmm. She's digging in there, then she spins around, and I believe after that it says then she presses her breast against him.
There was no breast. I read it. It mentions her
How many
head
times, Jade?
A lot. It mentions rocking her
All
head.
Right. Hey, maybe I'm wrong.
Rocking her head against his chest, moaning. So, this is where my question is, because if she's facing, because then he runs his hands along her spine, counting the vertebrae and fingering the spaces between. And it seems like
that's a clue.
It seems like that would be easier if she was like facing him.
Yeah.
Because if she was facing away, then his hands are like awkwardly in between the two of them, counting her vertebrae, and that doesn't seem normal. That seems awkward. And like she would be like, "What the fuck are you doing on my back?"
Yeah.
And his next movement would be a lot harder.
I can see holding, the sides. And kind of
with the thumbs?
With your thumbs, and it's not necessarily a weird thing you're doing. You're just kind of, it's all in the hips, Jade, and you're just kind of guiding the hips. So I can see that, but no, I guess I thought she was facing him because that way you're in like a hug situation and she's shaking her booty, but then she can't see your face, which is not at all really interested in the booty. Yeah. You're just like trying to count shit and your brain is on other things.
Yeah.
When I guess she's not facing him in this scenario, so maybe she's not looking anyways, but his face is not into it.
Yeah.
His hands are at work.
I guess that was all. I just, the way that it was.
No, she could be facing away. I could see that.
The way that they describe it, it makes it seem like she's facing, because then it mentions the way she's shaking her ass.
It's the arch move. You face away, the arms come around, and then you hold him on the back of his neck while you're facing away and in front. Yeah.
I just feel like
that's the move.
That doesn't give him a whole lot of room to maneuver and do what he's about to do. So I'm not 100% sure which way she's facing, because I feel like what he's about to do would be easier. Whatever. Either way. So the way she shakes her ass makes him miss the spot he wanted, so she staggers.
Oh?
The second time, he doesn't miss, and he slams the knife between the vertebrae, severing her spinal cord.
Oh, fuck!
Yeah. Yeah.
I love the way that this was written, because you don't know until she knows. Mm-hmm. It's total surprise. You're like, missed the spot. He was, what are you fucking talking about?
She staggered, what?
He doesn't even say knife until the second sentence in. Yeah. And you're like, oh shit, she just got stabbed.
Yeah.
Which is probably close to the reaction she had.
And there's no mention of blood or any of that stuff.
No, nothing about that.
Yeah. So he swept
Take a breath. That's fine.
He swept an arm around her to hold her up. Now the grunting moans coming from her are real. Ugh. When her mouth widened to scream, he shoved her panties into her mouth. That's what they were for.
That's why they were balled up.
Yeah. I don't know why he needed her dirty panties for that instead of her clean ones.
Just sniffed them and put them around your neck like a normal pervert.
Around your neck?
I don't know. Where else are you going to put them?
I don't know.
You don't have a drawer. You put it in your pocket.
You're talking like you wear them around your neck?
I said normal pervert. I don't know what I would do with them, but, I imagine someone who's really into dirty panties might be like, no, I want to keep them around for this.
Wow. Okay. So after he shoved them in his mouth, or in her mouth, then he uses the tie from her robe to secure it around her head. He's been planning it out with all the things around the room.
Yikes.
He would like to have heard her screams, but things would have ended too soon because, people would hear that and not be super happy.
Oh, no?
No, I don't think so.
Well, and that's the thing. That is a very different scream than the scream that she was talking about earlier.
Yeah, it is.
It sounds way different.
But also, yeah, that was foreshadowing for fucking sure.
Oh, yeah, 100%. You remember my screams, baby. Bad word. Don't say scream.
That's why he was so excited by it, though. He was like, fuck yeah, you will.
Don't give a beast the smell of blood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, so he smells the sweat of other men in her hair.
And he is loving it.
Yeah. He's like, oh, yeah. That potbelly man. Oh, he hasn't.
That fat son of a bitch was here.
He hasn't showered in 4 days.
That evil fuck. Look at that potbelly.
He tells her how much she's going to please him more than any man has before. What? Did I write that wrong? Told her how much she was going to please him more than any man before. Oh, she's going to please him more than she's pleased any other man before.
Right.
That makes sense. Yes, I did write it right. Okay.
So, really, this is a good thing if you think about it.
Yeah. She's doing a great service right now.
Yeah. And let's face it, that lower back pain is gone.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yikes.
He wants her to enjoy it too, even though she can't feel anything below her, mid-body anymore, whatever. Since this is what she always wanted. For sure.
Right. Oh, yeah, 100%.
He is the man she has been waiting for her entire life.
Knight in shining armor, the man of your dreams.
Hell yeah.
You've just been, I know, after that last dude, you were just sitting in here and be like, man, I just wish somebody would just come in here and just stab me. You know what I'm saying?
Just sever the fuck out of my spinal cord.
Nobody does it right. They're all using their dicks and nobody's bringing knives in here. Wonder what that's all about.
So he lets her fall to that's not funny.
It's kind of not, but from his fucking twisted ass point of view, this is what she's been waiting for.
Yep. He let her fall to the floor, which is so nice of him. And then she tries to punch him in the dick.
Fuck yeah, you do.
He grabs her hand and snaps her wrist. Just fucking snaps it.
Well, look, if you're in a situation like this, the number one recommended thing you do, like if you're caught by a suspected killer or whatever, you fight like hell and you fight with everything you have. Because that's the only chance you have of getting away. If you submit to them even the littlest bit, they're going to use that to control you.
Yeah, you make a lot of noise.
Yeah, a lot of noise. You kick. You do not make any second of that easy. And this surprised her. And so she didn't have a chance to do that, unfortunately.
She can't use her legs.
She still kept trying to punch him in the dick.
Yeah.
And for that, I applaud her.
Yeah, now she has only one arm to use because he snapped one of her wrists, and then he uses
the other fucking headbutt it. Do whatever you gotta do. Get out of there.
He uses the robe to tie her hands so she can't fight anymore or take the gag out. Yeah.
That's not good.
I do feel like he's doing a fairly efficient job, right, of gagging her and tying her up and all of this, but I feel
very BTK.
She was not supposed to have any more, or maybe he is supposed to be there, but I do feel like there's weird noises coming from this room after no other clients in there.
Well, for instance, they have a bed, and most of this flopping that's happening so far is on the floor.
Yeah.
So maybe weird bangs and stuff like that, and moans and groans
and blood.
aren't unheard of here, but blood's new. Blood's new.
Splashing of blood on the floor. Like, I don't know.
Let's
I just
face it,
feel
they're not sealing these floors either. That's going to drip.
Mm-hmm.
I picture it like Old West Town. They're like, they're upstairs. So if something is bleeding, it's going to, go through the floor.
Her sister whores or the girl or the boss downstairs should be noticing that something's weird. That's all I'm saying.
Plus, this is the last dude.
Yeah.
Girl's first day, last dude of the day.
Yeah.
Everybody else is done and quiet and gone home. So there is still that guy, right? Fuck, I forget what his name is, but he's like standing watch. The guy he had to pay, Silas, he had to pay to get in there.
If he did.
Silas, he's in this quiet building with this going on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If he did pay, then he knows he's there. If he didn't, then there isn't supposed to be anything going on in the rooms except the girls getting clean, or if they want to, I guess, and then going to bed.
Yeah.
So, like, he's not doing a very good job at this point, because some weird shit's going down there, and somebody should notice. That's all I'm saying.
Somebody is going to notice.
Yeah. Anyways, emotions flood his mind, but at least the voices.
Oh, voices!
The voices are silent.
Well, Jade, I was starting to think that this guy was mildly deranged, and now that I hear he's got voice, he's fine.
The voices are deranged.
They're quiet now, yeah,
right.
So he'll be fine.
He'll be good. He didn't know what the voices were,
oh, good.
But was sure, he's sure, though, that he only hears them because of his superior intellect. Not because he's fucking crazy, okay?
No.
It's because he's smart.
Crazy people understand the voices. I can just hear them.
I don't know where they're coming from.
Totally different.
He could pull such messages from the ether because of his uncompared perception.
Right.
And because he minded the details.
Jeez, fuck, man. This guy is nutballs.
Just so
100% nutballs.
Just so full of himself. Such a narcissist. It is. It is just real rough.
You know what upsets me the most is that he's gonna get away with something.
I think what's really probably terrible is the fact that he's doing really terrible things in this chapter, and we're more annoyed by his attitude of superiority than what he's doing.
Going to kill a human being, and we're like, yeah, but that fucking attitude, though.
Yeah, we're like disgusted by his attitude, but the other shit, that's bad stuff he's doing, but his attitude.
Fuck.
That's what's going to get him killed.
We're terrible people.
Maybe. So Rose had tears streaming down her face. Her plucked eyebrows in the Midlands. Wow. They're more good for you, ladies. That's all I have to say.
Hey, her image is her job.
I didn't assume anybody plucked their eyebrows back then, but hey, I didn't think they had tweezers. Good for them. Now I know they have tweezers.
No, they just used the wax.
It could have been way easier for Richard if he had been carrying a pair of tweezers in the beginning of this whole goddamn thing.
No, the series would be 4 chapters long.
Pocket knife and tweezers, goddammit.
We got it solved. We just solved the universe, everybody.
But they furrowed the skin of her forehead. He counted the rows that they made because he's special. She watched him remove his clothes. The knife, rock steady now.
Gosh.
Are we talking about the knife? Are we? Anyways,
I kind of don't think we are.
I don't think we are either. I no. He stood before her naked and erect, showing her what a good job she's doing for him, and I'm sure she felt great about that. Then he began.
Holy fuck. I have never wanted to turn the page and just have this chapter continue more than right now.
You want to see what he does?
I don't know that I want to see what he does, but I want closure on what he does now.
I bet you will get it at some point, but we don't. Here's the interesting thing, okay? For all of our pod listeners, I'm sure that there is a large chunk of you who know who this is.
Who this is, right. There are subtle clues.
And we have read the book, and so while reading it, it's like, yeah, that's who we're talking about. So even when we started this fucking podcast episode, Nate mentioned who it was, and I was like, you're not supposed to know.
Doesn't say his name, and I was like, what?
I don't remember as a first-time reader if you pick up on all of the subtle clues as to who it is yet. Right. I mean, I feel like there's a very limited option of people that you know that it could be at this point.
I can say this. I'll say this because this is a fair clue. So this weirdo, whack job, psycho fuckhole counted the vertebrae. That is huge into letting you know who this guy is.
Yeah.
Because somebody in the book earlier, just in case you weren't paying attention, somebody in the book earlier did that. And if you can find that person, then you're on the right track.
I feel like maybe when I read it the first time, I didn't realize who it was. I thought maybe we were being introduced to a new character. But I don't think we're introduced to another male in the beginning of this book. And there's only a certain number of males in Aidendril that it could be. So, anyways, this is we're gonna have to see how this unfolds for this wonderful spooky Ooky person.
Spooky Ooky.
Yeah.
Episode title and how. Spooky Ooky. All right, well, that does it for us for today. I know I made a comment on our last Patreon episode that the email we read left us so fucking emotional that we just totally skipped over all of the ending stuff. We just skipped right to the end. We were good. But today I am going to include it. I will remember to do my job. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to let us know by writing in your journey books to podcastatt@gmail.com.
That was so cute.
I like it, right? It's good, right?
I like that, yeah.
Or if you're in the modern world, you can just hop on your computer and into the World Wide Webs and find all of our social medias at podcastatt. Sorry, I had to immediately go the other way.
Yeah.
If you really enjoyed this episode and you wanted to directly support us, we would love you so much for it. You can go to patreon.com/podcastatt and make a pledge of your choice. And you'd basically be our favorite person. And
other than all the other favorite people that we have that
well,
are there.
all the people on Patreon. Those are the people carrying the show on their backs, and we love them for it.
Crawling through the desert. They
maybe
drank
money's
so
not your thing, and that's fine. Or maybe you can't right now. We get it. That's perfectly fine. Then all you got to do, if you would, is leave a rating of this show. Specifically you iTunes people. I don't use iTunes myself, so it's all kind of a mystery to me. But if you would be so kind as to give us a rating, preferably a good one, but be honest. If it's not good, then we will fix what it is that's not good. And if it's good, then we'll just feel good. Arguably better than the man in today's episode. Or at least in a better way.
I don't understand how you leave. I just want to throw this out there. If anyone knows how to leave reviews, I don't have Apple. I have Google.
No, we have Android. It's almost harder. It's harder to get there on an Android. I don't get how to do it, and I consider myself to be decent with tech stuff.
I don't understand how to leave a review myself. So if any of you know how to do that on Google, that would be great too. You can do that, and maybe tell me how to leave a review and then how to view reviews, because I don't know.
Do explain to us
how computers work.
What the internet is. Don't murder anybody.
Facts.
Yeah, don't do that. And thank you guys for listening. Mm-hmm. And we'll see you real soon.
Bye.